Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to share my secret to how fish breed and thrive effortlessly in my aquarium. If you have been following my channel, you probably noticed how easily fish reproduce in my aquarium. It's not something I actively try to achieve, but I absolutely enjoy watching tiny fry grow into full-sized adults. As an aquarist, there is a deep sense of satisfaction in knowing that I have created an environment where the fish not only thrive but also breed naturally. Now let me clarify. This kind of breeding is mostly unintentional, although it's certainly encouraged. It's not a substitute for the dedicated efforts of professional breeders. There are many passionate fish breeders here on YouTube, and Keeping Fish Simple is one of my favorites. He has successfully bred nearly every fish species you can think of and documented the process thoroughly for fellow hobbyists. Fish breeding in itself is a unique niche within the broader fish keeping and aquascaping hobbies. What I do here is nowhere near that scale. I'll never achieve the same fry yield as those breeders, and that's perfectly fine. So, quick disclaimer, this video isn't about how to breed fish professionally. Instead, it's a guide on how to set up your tank so that your fish naturally feel comfortable enough to breed, and you get to enjoy watching your fish family grow. So without further ado, let's jump in. One thing you might have noticed is how densely planted my aquariums are. If there is even a square inch of space left, it's likely to be overtaken by plants. That's exactly how I like to scape my tanks. And it makes sense. More plants mean more hiding spots for the fry and a richer ecosystem filled with microfauna like infusoria, copepods, and more. But here is a real secret. Take a look at the top of my tanks. You'll see that about 70% of the surface is covered with emergent plants, those growing out of the water. In my experience, this is a major game changer. When 70 to 80% of your tank surface is shared by such plants, fish tend to enter breeding mode more rapidly. They feel safer, and the reduced light in the water column increases fry survival rates as well. That's why in an Aquahobby style tank, despite all the lush greenery, you will rarely see any breeding. It simply lacks the structural cover that encourages reproduction. The second important factor is moss. I believe moss plays a key role in triggering fish to breed. Many experienced breeders use it intentionally and for good reason. A lush moss bed provides a secure place to spawn and a safe refuge for both eggs and newborn fry. It also hosts microfauna like infusoria, which serve as natural food for the young. I have never had to add baby brine shrimp to feed my fries, and yet they reach adulthood with ease. The only explanation, a well-established food web within the tank itself. That brings me to my next point, a seasoned aquarium. I try to keep my aquascape running for as long as possible. My longest running aquascape is 4.5 years old. In such tank, a balanced ecosystem naturally forms, providing consistent food sources for all stages of fish life, in addition to the food I add. Lastly, let's talk about water changes, a critical part of my maintenance routine. I heavily rely on them to keep my tanks clean and healthy. Please don't mistake a closed tank system for nature, which is a vast and self-sustaining. In our home setups, regular water changes are essential. Without them, your fish might survive, but they won't truly thrive. That's why I have invested in an automatic water change system. It lets me initiate a water change with just a tap of my phone. An effort I believe is well worth it. This not only reduces disturbance in the tank but also keeps water parameters stable, ensuring a stress-free, clean environment with ample food and dense plant life. And yes, it makes a huge difference. I hope today's video gives you some helpful insight to try natural fish breeding in your display tanks. If you do give it a try, I'd love to hear how it goes. Please share your experience in the comments. That's all for today's video. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care and goodbye.